So in this video we're going to be looking at inverse proportion rather than direct proportion. So if y is inversely proportional to x, I'll just put proportion. Oh, I might as well write it all. Y is inversely proportional to x. The first thing that you would have to write down is that doesn't mean that y equals kx like direct proportion. It means that y equals k over x. So likewise, if I just put in some ditto marks to save writing it out, so if it's inversely proportional to x squared, then my first line would be y equals k over x squared. I'll do one more. So if y is inversely proportional to the square root of x, then my first line would be y equals k over the square root of x. After that, the method is exactly the same kind of thing as for direct, where you then put your numbers in and you've got to work out what your value of k is. So if I start with this first one here, so y is inversely proportional to x. So first thing I'm going to write down is y equals k over x. Right, now I've got numbers to put in, haven't I? So I've got y equals 4 and x equals 2. So I'm going to replace the y here with 4 and the x with 2. So I get 4 equals k over 2. Now remember, that means k divided by 2. So to get rid of that divided by 2, I have to times by it. So I'd get that 8 equals k. So as soon as you get your value of k, put that back into that very first line that we wrote down. So I now know that k is 8. So instead of y equals k over x, it's now going to be y equals 8 over x. So that's my equation. And now I need to find the value of y when x equals 5. Well, if x equals 5, I just replace that x with 5. And I can just leave it like that, really. It doesn't say to write it as a decimal or anything like that. So y equals 8 over 5 would be absolutely fine. Right, the next one then is y is inversely proportional, but this time it's x squared. I'm going to have to be careful that this time it's x squared. So whenever we're putting in an x, you would have to remember to square it. So if y is inversely proportional to x squared, first line, y equals k over x squared. Next step, put your numbers in. So y is 10. Now remember, I said to be careful here because it's x squared. So rather than just putting k over 5, I need to square that 5. So it's going to be 25. 5 squared is 25. So it would be k over 25. So now to get k, remember that means divide by 25. So I need to times by 25. And 10 times 25 is 250. So as soon as you get that value of k, stick it back into that very first line we wrote down. So y equals 250 over x squared. So that's our equation. I now need to work out y when x equals 10. So again, I can't just put 10 in there, it's x squared, I need to square it. So 10 squared is 100, so it'd be 250 divided by 100, which that is quite easy to work out, isn't it? If I divide by 100, I can just put a point at the end and move it back to, so it would just be 2.5. But if you did leave it as 250 over 100, that's technically correct, so that would still get the mark. Right, next one, y is inversely proportional to the square root of x. So first line is that y equals k over the square root of x. Stick our numbers in, so y equals 2. And again, I can't just put x and I've got to square root it. So the square root of 4 is 2. So to get k, I'm going to times by this 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. As soon as you've got k, put it back into that starting equation. So y equals 4 over the square root of x. That's my equation. I need to find y when x equals 9. So again, don't just put 9 in, we've got to square root it. So y would be 4 over the square root of 9, which is 3, isn't it? So y would be 4 over 3. And the final one, this time y is inversely proportional to x cubed. So first line, y equals k over x cubed. Let's put the numbers in. So we've got y is 3. X is 2, but it's x cubed. So 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times by 2 is 8. And so to get k, I need to times by this 8 here. So k would be 3 times 8, which is 24. So as soon as you've got k, put it back into that top equation. So that's our equation. We need to work out the value of y when x equals 3. So again, I need to cube the 3 because it's x. 3 cubed, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 again is 27. So y would be 24 over 27.